from those police stations?
No,
Was those, but you agree that, that's a very short distance?
it is a short distance.
Were inquiries made? If not, why not?
Firstly, Chair, the time delay to send members, sometimes they come back with 5 or 10 bags.
What's worse? What's worse?
Yes.
What's worse? Saving time and not complying with prescripts which require that exhibits should be placed in exhibit bags. What's more important? Saving time?
Yes. No, I agree, Chair.
All
I
right,
agree.
Thank you, Chair.
Yes,
Yes,
am I understanding your evidence correctly to be that you and your team did not have evidence bags with you or enough evidence bags with you, but you as you were at the scene, you did not make any inquiries with any police stations?
You are correct, Commissioner.
Thank you.
Thanks, Commissioner Baloyi. In response to a question from the chair, you indicated, did I understand you correctly, that you learned later that they were transported to Port Shepstone, not contained in evidence bags. Is that your statement?
Can you repeat that
I had
question?
understood your answer to a question posed by the chair, that you subsequently learned that they were transported from Isipingo to Port Shepstone, not in evidence bags.
I knew that from the onset, Commissioners, yes.
Okay, that's what I needed to clarify. So by the time you left the scene at Isipingo, you knew that they were being transported to Port Shepstone, not in evidence bags.
I did know that, Commissioners.
Thank
yes.
you.
So basically, you knew even before you handed over to, is it Warrant Officer Mpangasi?
Yes,
So even before the handover, you already knew.
I did know that.
Thank
Chair.
you, thanks.
Thank you, Chair.
Sorry, lastly, in that paragraph 61, the very last statement where you say your interaction with DPP office at no stage was contamination of the crime scene or integrity of the exhibits ever cited as an issue. What are you conveying in terms of, maybe my question is, well, what did the DPP office know about what happened at the scene, about how the exhibits were handled? Were they ever in a position to express a view?
Yes. Okay. They would have had sight of the entire inquiry, Commissioner. That would have outlined every statement that was there. There's in the investigation diary, Warrant Officer Pangase puts a date and time as to when he sealed them in exhibit bags, where it was done, who was present. Then there's another addendum where he's described the exhibit bag and the color of bricks in it. So all of that would have been privy to the DPP's office.
I guess what I'm trying to understand is, with this statement, you are not conveying that there was nothing wrong with the way the crime scene was handled, with the way the exhibits were handled. The absence of a comment from the DPP office, you're not conveying the absence of a comment or adverse comment from the DPP office means all was done all was done properly. You're not saying that.
No, Commissioner, I will concede. They did not express any concern. When I look at it, there were a lot of concerns to be raised. However, I still maintain that the chain of custody, the integrity of the exhibits, all of the above that are needed to take a matter to court was still in place, albeit national instructions were not fully complied with, which is, there's no excuse for that. So, but yes.
Okay. Now, I wasn't engaging yet
Yes.
in the quality of what was done. I just wanted to understand what it is you're seeking for us to understand from that statement.
Okay.
Thank you. Thanks, Mr.
Thank you, Commissioner Baloyi. Thanks, Kenna. That will then bring us to your paragraph 62.
Okay.
But I see beyond this point, you deal in large part with the testimony of General Flynn. You see that?
Yes.
And perhaps before we do so, can I ask you to go back to your paragraph 26 just to clarify? At page 5, There, at paragraph 26, you deal with the entry made into the SAP 13
Yes,
by Warrant Officer Pangase.
that's correct.
Okay. Now, you say, I confirm that I did not view the SAP entry at the time.
Yes, correct.
Then you make certain admissions, but
Yes.
those admissions are based on your reading of the SAP 13 long after the fact.
That is correct.
Now, do you have an explanation at this juncture why you did not view the SAP entry at the time? Were you still not the person responsible for the seizure? Were you not the investigating officer before you handed over to Warrant Officer Pangase?
It was Pangase who was the investigating officer, Commissioner, at that stage, from the inception up until the 29th of June, 2021.
Also, you had already appointed him the investigating officer?
That is correct.
And you left that function to him?
Yes, that is correct.
Then that will take us to paragraph 62, where you then deal with General Flynn's testimony, and I think the misgivings, some misgivings you have about that testimony.
Yes. Okay. General Flynn cited drug seizure cases from Durban. Issue with this as there are reasons for the members deviating from National Instruction 1 of 2015. It is understood that an IO uses his discretion and uses investigative aids, namely LCRC, if he knows it will benefit his case. The seizure of these drugs was never under suspicion until they were stolen. I did not, never under suspicion until they were stolen. I did not.
Sorry, before you proceed, we need to make a formal correction.
Yes.
Which date is that? The
It's
date
22nd June 2021, Commissioner.
Duly done, thank you.
The seizure of these drugs on 22nd June 2021 was never under suspicion until they were stolen. I did not have any hand in the decision to store the drugs in Port Shepstone serious organized crime investigation. Neither did I know that the location was not suitable at the time. I followed an instruction that I deemed lawful when allowing the drugs to be stored there. On 22nd April...
Sorry, before you move to 63, you say I followed an instruction, but you don't indicate from who?
From Brigadier Newswa.
Brigadier Newswa.
Yes, that's correct.
Thank you. You may proceed.
On 22nd April 2026, General Flynn was at my office conducting inspections on all our cases on hand. I also asked him if there were any questions he had regarding any of the 10 cases he had drawn from us previously. I explained my challenges on the 22nd June 2021 seizure, as well as other cases of interest. He did not bother to ask any pertinent questions or seek clarity on any issue regarding this matter. Even during this meeting, I did not ever imagine that I was a suspect in the theft of drugs. I will now point out what I believe will show the Commission that the team investigating the theft of drugs was not acting in good faith. During late January 2026, my office conducted investigations into certain drug-related killings and feuds in the Durban and surrounding area. There's an inquiry number as a reference. These investigations were initiated by myself, Lieutenant Colonel K.G. Sbia, Lieutenant Colonel Dina Govender, amongst 2 other members of the Durban Serious Organized Crime Unit. This led to an individual coming forward in early February 2026 who claimed to be involved in the planning and execution of the theft of drugs that occurred in Port Shepstone on the 8th of November 2021. This informer/whistleblower/suspect was directed to a senior police official outside of the DPCI on the same day. We had done this as we felt it would be appropriate for a neutral party to further investigate this. The head office investigation team was situated in Gauteng and would not have been in a position to immediately respond to this. During the same meeting with General Flynn on the 22nd of April 2026, I informed him of this new information regarding the theft of drugs in Port Shepstone. I missed a sentence there. It's not going to make sense if I don't add it, may I?
Please,
Okay.
just tell us where to insert it.
Okay, paragraph 68.
Yes.
after the first sentence, right? It ends with Port Shepstone, then I
Correct.
need to add this bit. General Flynn wished to meet or interview this whistleblower / informer / suspect, right? I immediately called in the relevant member who was in touch with the whistleblower to engage with General Flynn, and I left the office. I later heard that General Flynn had sent out a team to interview this individual. From what I understand, he did not go out with his team to interview this individual who had vital information on the theft. I can also confirm the authenticity / credibility and veracity of this new information. I was left in total shock upon viewing General Flynn's evidence before this commission. It is understandable that all of us that were involved in the seizure would have initially been viewed as suspects. In the absence of any credible evidence before his visit to my office, I can understand how it is a plausible theory that the drugs were placed in Port Shepstone so that corrupt members could steal it. The high risk associated with that storage place lends credence to this theory. However, the general ought to have reassessed his investigation regarding the theft of drugs after this new information given to him by some of the very same members he is implicating. He alluded to significant progress in the matter during his evidence before the commission. He did not bother to mention that this is as a result of the Durban DPCI members mentioned above. This incident has caused a
Colonel, before you proceed, that first sentence in paragraph 69,
Yes.
when you say, I can confirm the authenticity, credibility, and veracity of this information, what do you mean by that?
Okay. I'm going to try and word it such that I don't give up too much, Commissioner, so you'll bear with me.
Yes.
When I make this statement, I'm referring to being a detective, to hard evidence, to names, to places, persons, vehicles, and the like, not just something hanging in the air that's not tangible, that's not able to be further investigated.
I understand. Thank you.
Okay.
And before you leave that, and please don't mention any names, at 68 you say, I immediately called in the relevant member who was in touch with the whistleblower. You see
Yes.
where I'm reading. By relevant member, you mean of the DPCI.
That is correct.
Thank you.
Yes.
May proceed.
Okay. This incident has caused embarrassment to the DPCI, the police as a whole, as well as the country, and should not go unpunished. I do believe that DPCI members have conspired with criminal elements to carry out this crime. In the same breath, I plead with the Commission to ensure that the proper facts are placed before them so as to maintain the integrity of the Commission. The damage that General Flynn's evidence has caused to us, innocent members, by creating this false narrative and orchestrating his investigation to suit the same, is irreparable.
And before you move on to the next paragraph, at 71 you say this incident has caused embarrassment to the DPCI. I want to understand what incident
The
are you
incident of the
referring-
theft, Commissioner,
The theft itself.
the theft
Thank
of
you.
the drugs.
All right, you may proceed.
And then in that 72, where you refer to General Flynn's evidence,
Yes.
and you say he created this false narrative.
Yes.
What is that narrative that you, what did he say
Okay.
that you qualify as a false narrative?
The fact that he says by design and not due to, as the Commission referred to, a comedy of errors, I think that's also a stretch, but I would say the fact that his theory was based on loosely, or can I say there was no evidence to support his theory. I think that's the statement I'm looking for. And in terms of, may I just delve a little more into it, Commissioner, with your indulgence? Okay. Like where I cite that Warrant Officer Perumal, a statement was obtained from him, the SAP 13 clerk at Isipingo. As a detective, when you go to obtain Warrant Officer Perumal's affidavit, and this is subsequent to the theft in November 2021, the drugs have now been stolen, Isipingo knows that they did not want to keep those drugs. Now you get a team that's investigating the said theft of drugs. They go to Isipingo SAP. I haven't seen Warrant Officer Perumal's statement, but I believe it goes along the lines where he denies that he said to us there's no storage place. He denies that there were no exhibit bags. So I'm saying, I have submitted so many further statements to General Flynn's excuse me, investigation team. And in most of them, I allude to the fact that we had a problem with Warrant Officer Perumal. Now when the investigation team goes to him, they should not merely pose questions regarding the 22nd of June. Or, yes, the 22nd of June. So to me, they basically asked him, did you have storage place? He says yes. Did you have exhibit bags? He says yes. Because he knows if it comes back to him that he refused us, he's also in the hot seat. So I'm saying, why was it not canvassed with him? The fact that Colonel Jacob alludes to certain incidents where they had issues with you regarding mandrax or whatever, but I did allude to it. So I'm saying the fact that the investigation team remained silent on that issue and did not even engage Warrant Officer Perumal to ask him, what's your comment on this? What do you have to say about this? To me, it was, the statement was taken with an objective in mind, and it was not done fairly. As a detective, you need to keep an open mind, you need to ask the relevant questions, and even the fact that I found those OB entries where Warrant Officer Perumal had booked members of SIC and made entries in the OB reflecting that a member went to the doctor for consultation because of drugs being stored there. I would have thought that that would have been uncovered by the investigation team. But the fact that they hadn't gone to that level, yet we're going to a level where we're analyzing inquiries and all of that, that's basic investigative work that should have been done properly. So, yes,
Colonel, I thought what you were alluding to in 72, when you talk about a false narrative, is the theory in 69 that the drugs were placed in Pet Shepstone so that corrupt members could steal it.
yes.
And then you just got lost because you started talking about OB books and other things.
Sorry, I jumped the gun there,
Yes.
Commissioner.
Can you just answer that question so that we...
All right.
That's my question.
Okay, and the reason, okay, if you want to proceed, it's fine, but may I just have a little chance? Okay, now I just lost my train of thought with this. It's fine, you can proceed. It's okay.
No.
Actually started there in answering me.
Yes.
That's where you started. You said the narrative that this was all deliberate so that the
All
drugs
right,
can
just
be
no,
stolen.
I think I got my point now. May I just, all right, my point being was that it's clear that I was not involved in the decision to store at Port Shepstone, but it's being insinuated that I initiated or was part of this planning by closing off this gap of storing it anywhere else. The fact that I said to the brigadier, I've exhausted all avenues, I've got no storage place. So I'm saying that General Flynn ought to have investigated properly, because the fact that he cites, I should have used Brighton Beach, I should have used Durban Central. Did he not find out from those stations, did you have capacity? He had not clearly not known even about the fact that these exhibits were stored there. In his evidence to the commission, at no stage did General Flynn allude to the fact that Isipingo had turned these exhibits away and that they were lying at Durban Central for 1 year and 9 months untouched. And I will go on further to say, there's no official record of those exhibits being stored at Durban Central. I followed up, I couldn't find an OB entry or a SAP 13 entry for when Durban Central accepted these exhibits on the 6th of February 2020. And I'm not doing this, commissioners, to point fingers at others, to show that others are doing wrong, so I should be left alone because I'm doing wrong as well. I'm doing this, I'm highlighting it to point out, that firstly, the challenges that we face, and secondly, the fact that General Flynn, I would think, misled this commission by not highlighting a pertinent point by saying to the commission that I find it strange, Isipingo has never had a problem with exhibits. That was his statement to the commission. How can you say that in light of all of this? So hence, I'm saying what I say. And before I forget, Commissioners, there's one other thing. I've perused an affidavit of General Flynn's, where he cites this Mandrax case, and like I highlighted, he did not point out the fact that it was stored at Durban Central for 1 year, 9 months. He goes on further to state that when the exhibits were confirmed to be Mandrax. In his statement, he says the exhibits were confirmed to be Mandrax. Now, I find this strange, seeing as how the date of destruction by the FSL was the 12th of November, 2022, or 2021, that this was destroyed. Those exhibits from Isipingo that moved to Durban Central, it was now taken out the vault. On the very same day, the members took it up to Pretoria, and the exhibits were disposed of. They were taken to an incinerator at some undisclosed location. So I fail to see where there is confirmation that this indeed was Mandrax, because no analysis was done. It was merely destruction or disposal. So once again, it's a concern to me that General Flynn covers those bases when it comes to another member. Yet when it came to this case of ours, the investigation, like I say, was, to me, not done objectively. Thank you.
Colonel, I wouldn't want you to be misunderstood or what your testimony is. If I can try again to take you back to Commissioner Baloi's question, and I'll do that with reference to your own statement, okay? If you look at your paragraph 72, the question by Commissioner Baloi is, what is the false narrative that you say General Flynn created? You understand that? And I want you to consider a response to that question in the context of what you state at paragraph 69 and at paragraph 71. At 69, you say, and I read midway, in the absence of any credible evidence before his visit to my office, his being General Flynn, I can understand how it is a plausible theory that the drugs were placed in Port Shepstone so that corrupt members could steal it. The high risk associated with that storage place lends credence to that theory. Do you see that, Pet?
Yes.
Now, if you go to 71, where you talk about the theft, the incident, you conclude 71 with the following words: I do believe that that DPCI members have conspired with criminal elements to carry out this crime.
Yes.
So this is what you testify to.
Yes.
Now, in the context of what you say, what is the false narrative that you say General Flynn presented to the commission?
Okay. Thank you, Commissioner. I would say the fact that on the